Good evening and welcome to the Star Chamber Show live podcast, episode number 450 tonight. A very cold night here in central Kentucky, where I, Stephen Zimmer, am broadcasting from. Yes, and welcome to all the new listeners lately. It's been great to have some great shows the past couple of weeks. If you haven't heard them, do check them out. We do archive those on Podbean. And of course, you can listen to them on all the major platforms like Spotify, iHeartRadio, YouTube, iTunes, all those kind of places. And yes, the chat room is open and working. So yes, from your mobile app, great place to access the chat room. We got a great group building here already, including some fellow podcasters. I see the great folks from Vamp Chat with Dan and Eva are in the house. And we also have Fax Porcupine podcast. And then we, of course, got some great writers coming in, like award-winning screenwriter and author Carol Preflattish, L.J. Mack. And yes, it's getting active, folks, already. So Holly will be joining me in just a few minutes. So she's just getting a couple things together before she comes on the air. So we, of course, as an affiliated podcast, the Imaginarium Convention will give you some updates on the latest developments with the convention. And, of course, recognize those that brought you tonight's show. So without further ado, I will get into some of the updates tonight. Actually from the last week, but updates for you tonight. And so we have no less than 4 new panelists to tell you about. And then we also, just a couple hours before the podcast aired, we had 5 great new workshops added to the Imaginarium 2025 programming. So I want to give you all the scoop on all of it. So joining us for the first time as a panelist is author and editor Sherry Howard. I wanted to welcome Sherry aboard. We're looking forward to seeing her this summer. And yes, she's won a Imagine Award back in 2021 as a children's author. So yes, great to see Sherry as a panelist with us this year. We also have author and publisher J. Patrick Lamar. And if you remember, we definitely had a great show with J. Patrick on the Star Chamber show a few months back. Check that one out in our archive of episodes as well. Then today we announced that award-winning author and screenwriter B.D. Prince is coming. And yes, this is B.D.'s first time as a panelist at Imaginarium. And then returning to Imaginarium as a panelist is voice actor, and author Michael Ignacio Jr. And Michael is just a fantastic voice talent, and yes, audiobook narrator too. So yes, definitely going to be a great part of Imaginarium, and looking very much forward to it. Yes, and we also have, of course, as I mentioned, 5 new workshops, and wait till you hear the presenters on these. We have no less than Pulitzer Prize nominated author and poet, playwright, and filmmaker Lee Pennington giving a workshop on unique poetry, discovering how to become totally aware of one's environment to become a successful poet. Also following along the lines of poetry is the Syllabic Poetry Writing Challenge with presenter Aaron Crittenden. And it's a poetry challenge for all ages and stages, and teaches about 3 different poetry forms. And yes, you will have be the chance to write your own in this workshop. And then we have one of our guests of honor, Johnny D. Boggs, is giving a workshop on writing the real West versus the Hollywood West. And yes, the title describes it just perfectly. It's all about what the real West was all about, in contrast to what the Hollywood West portrays, and of course emphasizes writing the real West in your Westerns and weird Westerns and all that kind of fun stuff. And looks like I think Holly has just come aboard here. Holly, how are you doing tonight?
I am doing good.
There you are.
I made
You
it.
made it. You made it. Just giving a rundown on the latest programming that we added. And of course, as you were the one that
Yes.
coordinated all these, you're very familiar with them.
Yes, I know them well.
Yeah. I was just telling about the Johnny D. Boggs one about the writing the
Oh,
real
that's going to be
Western.
so cool. Yeah, what inspired that is if I invite anybody, all of you, to go to johnnyboggs.com and check out his website. It's really cool. it has a lot of information. He talks about his career over the years. He has done a lot of things and seen a lot of things, met a lot of people, worked with a lot of people, and he's just a phenomenal guy. And he had mentioned in there about, the Old West, versus the Hollywood version of the West, and he likes to do the historical background and really researching and digging, for the old, West and how it really was, and trying to bring it through into his stories, so it's authentic, and how it was back then. And it's really interesting. And so I ran the idea by him. I'm like, hey, Johnny, this inspired me to, yeah, and so he's like, yeah, let's do it. So yeah, he's going to talk about writing, the Old West versus the Hollywood version. That's it's similar with the vampires, right, Dan? um writing the old folklore against the Hollywood version, two different things, right? So yeah, it's pretty neat. It's gonna
Yeah,
be
it
neat.
is. It is. And we also have, two workshops, not one, two workshops from the amazing Virginia Smith. Also, Virginia Smith was today, we recognized her as our Writer Wednesday, Writer of the Week, Imaginary Writer Wednesday, Writer of the Week. I mean, she is just amazing. And recently, of course, had one of her books was aired as a feature film on the Lifetime channel, where it is now streaming. And the book, of course, was Guilty Secrets on Lifetime. It is known as The Lies We Bury, and it's a mystery
Yes.
thriller. But check it out on Lifetime. Definitely big thing for Virginia, and very very excited about that. And so her workshops are. How to write funny, and this is Virginia Smith writing, going beyond telling jokes, how to infuse your writing with humor and techniques for instilling humor in fiction. And yes, it's going to be a great, great workshop if you struggle with that area of your writing. And then she's also going to be given, also going to be giving. I got a little feedback coming over there in
Feedback.
the air there, but we also had Stories That Sparkle, and that is also from Virginia Smith, and applying sparkle tips to your stories to have seamless sensory description, avoiding throwaway words, and adding backstory that enhances the plot without hijacking it. So yeah, great, very very meaty writing workshops, and I think
Yes.
you're all going to love that. So can't wait for that, and yeah, give you all of
She
that.
always tweaks. And if you've seen the Stories That Sparkle, if you've been to it at a past convention of ours, um, don't worry, because she always changes it up and adds things. And she does this workshop very well. And it's always got new information and updated information. And she loves doing this workshop. So she always requests to do it. She just updates it every year.
Yes, yeah, it's fantastic, and of course, Virginia. Also, I do want to give a plug to the Conference of Writers, and taking place in Frankfort, Kentucky, this April. Great event, and actually, one of tonight's guests is a featured guest at it, and so yes, we might mention that a little bit more. But check out Conference of Writers from the Bluegrass Writers Coalition for sure. And I think that is it as far as the new. Yeah, I'm just checking the list here. Yep,
Yeah, I think
that's
so.
all the new workshops. But yeah, 4 new panelists and
Busy
5
as
new
usual.
workshops. Busy as usual. So, do you have any updates, Holly?
No, no, not other than that. Not right now.
Not right now. All right, all right. Yeah,
I
because
will, but not right now.
we got a heck of a show with you tonight. After we give you the people that brought you tonight's show, we'll be bringing on guests a little bit of a staggered fashion, because we have 3 tonight that are joining us on tonight's topic. So that's a little bit of a teaser for you. 3 great guests. All of them are just fantastic. So yeah, you're getting a triple treat tonight, a
Trifecta.
trifecta, a trifecta. And that kind of fits, though, Holly, because
Yes.
tonight's show is brought to you by a literary trifecta, Per Bastet Publications, and then also, of
Yes.
course, the great Sandy Lender, the genre blender.
Shop
And
Wonder.
she told me of her her adventures in air travel recently. And I tell you, Sandy always runs, and in hindsight,
Oh,
they're hilarious. when they're happening, they're awful. But she has some of the absolute funniest stories that
She
she was
does.
telling me today of recent. Yeah, where the plane she was on landed in the wrong city. Where another plane she was on, and this is a different occasion, was had no pilot. They
Oh,
had to scrape one up at the last second.
nice. Nice.
And then the time she got stranded in Las Vegas, and they're trying to be generous, giving her vouchers, and the vouchers, of course, didn't work at any of the places inside the airport. So yeah, I tell you, Sandy has some good
Poor
stories.
Sandy.
Yeah, she always is running into
Yeah, and
certain
then she got
adventures.
caught up. She was so upset last year because they had that big tech issue, and we had a bunch of guests and vendors and sponsors that didn't make it because the airports were shut down.
Yeah,
They wasn't doing anything because they
yeah, the
had
big
that big
out
mess
computer
with the
outage. Yeah,
tech outage. Yeah, so she was so upset because she
yeah.
never misses Imaginarium, and
She's
yeah, it was sad.
driving. She did tell me she's
Did
driving this
she?
year. Yeah,
But she's
she's
making
making
it by
darn
God,
sure
one
she's
way
gonna
or the
make
other. She
it.
ain't gonna miss Imaginarium this year.
No, Sandy will be there. And we'll give you a new one from her in just a second, but I'm going to go ahead and give you some info on Per Bostet. And then we're also going to shine a spotlight again on the Spirited Giving, the great event that James Sabata is hosting on Thursday at the eve of AuthorCon 5 up in Williamsburg, Virginia. That's part of the Scares That Care charity event. So that's going to be a great event to go see and participate in. So check all that out. But I'll get into this so we can get on to the show of the night. But Per Bostet Publications is a small press based in the Louisville metro area, specializing in speculative fiction and other outside-the-box books. With 40 titles in print and ebook formats and a handful of audiobooks, Per Bostet offers a little bit of everything. Check out Frenemies in Space, Marian Allen's new science fiction short story collection featuring return character Smartmouth Connie Phelan, or try Michael Dabney's latest David Blaze mystery, A Deadly Game, a prequel set in 1984 Philly. You can find these titles and more at perbostetpublications.com, at Amazon, or you can find the press in person at Kentucky and Indiana book fairs and conventions. Per Bostet Publications, where timeless tales unfold. So thank you very much to Teely Harris, Marian Allen, and Sarah Marian, the literary triumvirate. And yeah, check out at perbostetpublications.com and pick up some great stuff there. And so, yes, we'll go ahead and move over to the amazing Sandy Lender. Here's a bit from her.
Are you a creative person working a 9-to-5 job to survive? Let's look at how to keep your energy and joy alive with the new motivational business book, Capture Your Dream, from author Sandy Lender. In Capture Your Dream, Sandy offers stories, lessons, inspiration, SWOT analysis, goal stacking strategies, and more to help you map your plan to achieve a dream job or side hustle. As a creative herself, Sandy knows it takes compromise and commitment to keep the day job to survive while chasing the dream to thrive. Assess your dragon score. Learn more about Capture Your Dream at AuthorSandyLender.com.
And it's a great nonfiction release from Sandy. Definitely check that out. And so, yes, we're going to go over and give you a little spotlight for a great cause, great charity, run by great people like James Sabata.
The Spirited Giving fundraiser returns on Thursday, March 27th, as part of AuthorCon 5 in Williamsburg, Virginia, featuring author readings from Jamie Flanagan, Brian Keene, D.M. Gay, and Rebecca Cuthbert, as well as a live performance of the epic podcast series, The Midnight Pals. All proceeds go directly to Scares That Care, a 501c3 nonprofit that has raised and donated over $300,000 to burn victims, women fighting breast cancer, and families with a child affected by illness. Check out spirited-giving.com for more information. Spirited Giving. It's gonna be one hell of a night.
And thank you to James for sending that over. We're glad to air it for him because this is a great, like I said, a great cause, great event. So, yes, tonight is going to be a trifecta, as Holly said, and we are getting ready to bring our first guest of the evening in. And appropriate, because this guest is the founder of the topic we were speaking of tonight. And the first guest that we will be bringing in is an author, publisher, and podcaster. She is also the owner of From the Ground Up Books, which has 2 locations, one in Shepherdsville, Kentucky, and one in the great town of LaGrange, Kentucky. So now you probably have a pretty good idea who it is. So without further ado, I'm bringing in the one, the only, and Imaginarium spotlighted guest, Lynn Tincher. And Lynn, your microphone is on.
Hi, guys.
So, there you are.
Hi, Lynn.
Hello. Good to hear you. And yes, we're going to be talking Pencrafters tonight. Pencrafters Mentorship Program and all things about it, and even bringing aboard a couple of the actual mentors, 2 rascals that'll be joining the show in just a few minutes. But first, let's catch up with you a little bit. How have you been? And let's give us some updates. Writing anything you want.
Well, technically, I guess I can officially announce it here first, but my 5th book, Juna in the Mind Bending series, released on ebook today.
Nice.
So I'm going to really start promoting it on Saturday, and we'll be getting print books out really soon. We've got a release party scheduled on March 8th in LaGrange, and then on March 29th, I believe, in Shepherdsville. So I've got that going for me this week. As well as I made it to the show on time this time, Stephen. Aren't you proud of me?
Oh, yes. Well, I am.
You both. We actually got here at decent time.
Yeah,
so.
Holly even made it in time.
But I do apologize. I am sick. I have a fever of 102 and a cough. So if I start coughing,
go to bed, honey. Jeez,
no.
Pete.
I'm sorry.
one way or the other.
Oh, honey.
Well, thank you for soldiering on.
Floods. Drake's the floods.
Yeah,
That's
definitely. Yeah, I'm sorry to hear you're under the weather.
Jeez.
I know that.
There's been a lot of that flu A going around, so be careful.
Yeah, whatever it is, all I have is a cough and a fever. So.
Okay.
I feel fine. So.
Oh, well, that's good. I mean, that's a good thing. But yeah, it sure takes a lot out of you if you have a fever too long.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not like your life is doesn't have a lot on the plate. I mean, we just mentioned your book release. Of course, you've got 2 locations with your bookstore. You've got your literary foundation. You've got the Pencrafters Mentorship Program. I mean, you are busy.
That's what I get for retiring, right? I have time to do all this stuff.
That's retiring, right?
Retiring what? Yeah.
I'm working full time to working all the time.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think you're working more now than you were when you were working. We all seem to do that,
Yeah.
I did nursing for over 20 years, and I work way more now than I ever did.
Well, yeah, because your old place full too, especially with the Imaginarium. I can't imagine.
Yeah, we're crazy. Yes, it's a lot, but hey, at least we're working in the book world in some form or fashion with everything we do, so that's good. That makes it a little better on the busy days. But we'll introduce first before we bring in the first mentor that's joining us tonight. I do want you to go into what the Pencrafters Mentorship Program is. And how long it's been around, and just give us a little bit of an introduction about it.
Sure. We started it at the end of last year, and at the time we had 6 mentors. We've increased it to 7 now. I started it as a way, being an independent author myself and trying to have to navigate the whole thing from start to finish, from square one, not knowing what the heck I was doing on anything, that I had help along the way and got to meet some people along the way. But now that I've been in the industry for quite a while, I know somebody that has experience in every step from, concept, your idea of the book all the way through promoting the book, actually published. So I was thinking, I've got the bookstore going. I want to make sure that I'm helping local authors. And I thought, well, I could start a mentorship program and pull together all these people that I know and be able to offer something that someone could step into and get to know people that can help them the entire way. By the way, it's not just me; it's a whole group of people. So started this and put it out there, and we had a good crowd the first time. I think I saw that Jessica is listening in. She was one of our mentees in the first round. So she can tell you too what it's about. But we meet once a week or once a month. No, sorry, once a week for 7 weeks. Get one of us talking to you one day each week, and then you have access to all of us throughout the 7 weeks, and then again in a group setting or one-on-one, you have access to all of us after. So it's an ongoing thing beyond just the 7-week program.
That's fantastic, and very thorough, comprehensive, and looking at the folks that you have as mentors. I mean, you got great folks for each segment. I mean, definitely people that know their stuff, and it looks like you get the one-on-one aspect, and then you get a very well-rounded, with getting many different mentors involved. I mean, just really nice structure.
Yeah, I'm really blessed. I'm really blessed that they all agreed to do
it. Definitely. I mean, you got some great folks, and
well, I would say in this area and Kentuckiana, in this area there is a camaraderie that there seems to be. We try to help each other. It takes a village. It really does. And we do strive. Most of us in that area, do strive and want to help others, with their creative endeavors too. We want to see them succeed.
Yeah, it's not a competition, which is great. Right. Yeah,
that's right. Yeah, collaboration, not competition.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, it's great. It's just I love how the fact that it's all the everybody's interrelated with all. Everybody's running different events. Everybody's got projects like your bookstores. I mean, everybody's got lots of different things going on, and everybody's mutually supportive, and it's real healthy. It's a really, really healthy kind of thing. Yeah, definitely. And speaking of that, I might as well bring in one of your mentors, just so I don't keep him on the line too long. But I have to give him some kind of grand introduction because, of course, he is. He was a Toastmaster for Imaginarium for 9 years. He is also in the 2025 inductee class of the Imagination Hall of Fame. He runs Hydra Publications, which of course is a great small press with several imprints, and is an award-winning author and screenwriter. And if that's not enough, he also runs the great LaGrange Book Fair, which Holly and I look forward to every single year. The LaGrange Book Fair in LaGrange, Kentucky, where one of Lynn's locations of her bookstore is as well. So see how it all ties together? It's beautiful. But of course, I'm talking about the one, the only Tony Acree. And Tony, your microphone is on. I hope you should be there.
Dude, that makes me tired just listening to that. So
it's a lot. It's true though.
Yeah,
it does. True.
It is, and it's interesting because we're talking about this. The Pencrafters, what Lynn has started. You may or may not remember, but the first time we actually met was up at Context. Is that what it was called? Up in Ohio.
Up in Ohio.
And Frank Hall at the time owned Hydra Publications, and I was just trying to help Frank out. And I'm like, hey, I'll buy dinner if you guys will just let me. I think it was you, and it might have been. Jason Sizemore and James O'Barnes.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, I'll buy you dinner if you'll let me ask you a bunch of questions. I was just trying to find out things to help Frank. Little did I know that within the year I would own the business. But, that conversation between 3 publishers that were doing it really gave me the foundation for what I needed to do. Because, I was a mailman turned into a writer, right? So, I didn't know anything about book writing, publishing, any of that stuff. And it was through a mentorship program, like talking to you guys, that really helped me out, which is one of the reasons why I like to give back. So, in addition to the Bluegrass event that you mentioned, this Friday I'm going to a middle school in Southern Indiana to do a workshop. And then on Saturday, I'm doing another mentors workshop at Middle Tennessee State University. I'm publishing for 2 hours. So
nice.
Well, but again, I'm where I'm at because people like you guys help me out, right? So in this community, that's the best thing about the Louisville, Cincinnati, Lexington area is the creatives really give back to other creatives, and it's like you said, it's not a competition. We're all in this together, and so it's a fun thing to do.
Yep, and I alluded to it earlier, but you also are giving a workshop at the Conference of Writers, the
Right.
Bluegrass Writers Coalition event as well, and looking forward to seeing you there. And yes, I remember those early days well. And you even were kind enough to take me out to eat in Lexington too. You came to
Sure.
Lexington and took me out to a dinner to talk shop in the early days, and boy, has the publishing world changed since then. I mean,
Oh,
Dude, it's
wow.
funny
We've
'cause
you
come
and
a
I have
long
seen
way, right?
you and I've seen so much.
Well,
Woo.
I was the new guy back then. Now I'm one of the gray hairs. I mean, I'm old enough to be in the Hall of Fame with Imaginarium, with
Hall
some
of
great
Famer.
people. I mean, but the first thing I said, well, congrats. I said, yeah, it means I'm old. So, but it's an interesting journey because again, I was a guy who couldn't spell that, through Dewey Hensley, who was my college English 102 professor. I went back to school in my 30s, who forced me to be published. And that was a short story that ended up in Kentucky Monthly Magazine. And then, we just keep on keeping on. So we just, we've had it for a bit, but we're really rolling it out. We just announced the Pennington Press, our poetry imprint for Hydra Publications, which is, in honor of former Kentucky Poet Laureate and three-time Pulitzer nominee, Lee Pennington.
Yep.
And so he is a mentor we're going to have 4 or 5 new poets coming online in the next couple of months, and he mentored 4 of them. So, we're just trying to give independent writers a voice.
Oh, absolutely, and I was excited to see that announcement because we love Lee. He's one of your fellow inductees in the Hall of
Yeah,
Fame this summer, and just a great all
such
around
a
guy. And
dear,
God, I
great
mean,
fellow. Love it.
what a brilliant individual. It comes, I mean, just so multifaceted, and with poetry, I mean, you can't do better.
Oh no, and of course, and he taught and mentored for years. And then the other one, another of your inductees, Michael Nost. We worked with
Yes,
Michael to launch the Western imprint we just
yes.
was it Last Chance Press. If I remember, I'm so tired. I'm like, Lynn, I'm not sick, but I'm tired. And but there was Michael was our first Western release on that imprint. So we're but again, Michael, 2-time Bram Stoker Award winner, gives back to the community constantly. He's your current
Yes, your successor.
successor at Imaginarium as the Toastmaster. So but that's what this group is good about, is giving back. So I'm just a small wheel in a bigger cog. You know what I mean? Small cog in a bigger wheel. I got that one backwards. I'm a small cog in a big wheel, man.
we're fish. We're little fish in big ponds.
Yeah. We did an interview with Crossroads LaGrange about the Pencrafters the other day, and the point I made was there's no point in reinventing the wheel when you can jump on one that's already spinning. And that's why
Yes.
taking advantage of Imaginarium, taking advantage of Pencrafters, you can never, ever stop learning the craft of writing. And
Nope.
there's no point in doing it and learning it from scratch. Take it from people, and more importantly, learn from our mistakes every bit as much as you
Right.
do from our successes, because we all learn more from our mistakes, and Lord knows we've screwed up a lot.
Oh,
So,
yep.
You
Oh,
nailed
yeah.
it.
yeah,
You name
got
it.
that right.
yeah.
But
So, but learn from us.
Been
you
there,
do.
done it.
You learn you get some of your biggest lessons from some of the blunders you make along the way. I mean, definitely. It's always a good learning experience. And I do want to definitely give a shout out on that new book because it's phenomenal. Speaking of Michael Noss, though, and that's of course the title of it is Trail of Madness, and the press, of course, Lawless Trails Press.
Lawless
And,
Trail. There you go. I said Last Chance. I'm sitting going, come on,
brand
I
new.
don't have it in front of me. Lawless Chance. There you go.
Brand new
Yeah.
press as of November. I mean, imprint. A brand new
So
imprint.
if you're listening and you're a Western writer, look us up, because we're looking for more Westerns. So,
Yep.
we're looking to take some strolls to the old West, or even the new West. It could be a modern Western. It doesn't have to be, a back in the day one. It could be a modern Western. So
That's cool.
yeah.
Yeah. That's
Craig
awesome.
Johnson's Longmire series is a perfect example of a modern Western that's just absolutely fabulous. So if you've not read, a lot of people probably have seen the TV series, but if you've not read Craig Johnson's books, they're fabulous.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely are, and that's an exciting project. I'm glad you've added that new dimension to Hydra. New heads of the Hydra are growing all the time.
Dude. Well, the good, and again, you all are aware of this, and this is I can give a shout out to, because a lot of people listen to the show that I've been dealing with health issues for about 2 years, and finally we're on the other side of that hill.
Thank
I'm
God.
feeling like
Thank
my
God.
old self. It's taken a couple years to get there, but
Yeah, you've been through a roller coaster and then some. Yeah,
three
for sure.
three surgeries last year alone. So,
Yeah.
but hey,
It's crazy.
I'm back to my effervescent self. So
Fantastic.
You sound great.
Yeah, you sound fantastic.
Feeling great.
And let me tell you, that photo shoot, you were very dapper. I mean, I love those new Tony Acree photos that you
I do
released.
too.
Well, and it's
pretty well
give my
done
credit to my daughter Katie, because when she took the headshot that you all used, which was a fantastic picture, the best that had ever been taken of me, the one before, and we've got all these new projects. You're like, well, you really need a new headshot. We're discussing as family. Well, let's go take them. So that Katie gets the credit for those photos. She makes me look good.
She's talented. Oh yeah, definitely. But
And it's so funny to see us all. I don't know where the years went; they're gone. But we all knew each other, and we're working together on things and building up when we didn't have any white or gray hair. It's amazing.
I
Where
know.
have the years gone?
The twins started traveling with me to occasional shows when they were 9.
Yeah.
And they're now 21 and
God.
juniors in college.
I remember.
And both,
Crazy.
again, as you know, very talented. And then Matt has won 2 different film festival awards at the University of Kentucky.
Wonderful.
And is working on yet another screenplay. And so it's been, of course, Katie's vocal performance. And I'm very proud of the children. And
Absolutely.
they're going to be very successful creatives.
Yeah, they are awesome. And they
I
always take
really,
good care
really
of us.
hope.
Yeah.
I hope they can come to Imaginarium this year
Yeah, I hope
and,
so
and
too.
enjoy it, because you got the film side and you got the
Everything else.
and I hope they can come and enjoy. I really do.
Sure. I know that they're planning on it. So
I do.
last
I'd love
year,
to
Matt
see
was
it.
in Wisconsin and Katie was doing, I think, an internship.
Yeah,
So,
they
but
were
this year
busy.
they're actually planning on, because again, Dad puts them to work.
Yeah.
So,
Well, yeah.
Oh, you do, and they always take such great care of Holly and myself at the
They
Lagrange Book
do.
Fair. Yeah,
They do.
Lagrange, they are just awesome.
Well, see, when they're taking payments, I can drink bourbon
That's right.
That's
how that goes.
or Fireball whiskey.
good point.
There you
Yes,
go.
the famous Fireball whiskey handshake.
Good old Fireball.
It is. So we're really looking forward, because, like, we've got the book fair in August, but Imaginary before that, and again, it's like a family reunion.
It is.
My writers love to come to it. We always have a table. We're one of the sponsors. We always have a table there, and everybody just really enjoys coming. And it's truly a family reunion.
It
And
is.
we enjoy having everyone and their expertise and sharing their knowledge, because a lot of them are also guests.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And as far as
Yep.
sharing knowledge, though, with Pencrafters specifically in the program here, let's talk about your area and what you're looking forward to working with the participants, and what your approach to it as a mentor. I'd like to hear specifically.
Yeah.
Well,
for
what
this
I'm
program.
doing on my talks, I'm dealing with, it's the so you want to be published. And a lot of independent writers don't realize there's things you really need to pay attention to before you submit your novel to a publisher, and things to get your novel ready, and then how to approach a publisher, pay attention to submission guidelines. We go over all that kind of stuff, how to write your introductory letter. So my part will be, here's what you need to do before you submit. Here's what you do when you submit, and here's how you follow up after you do submit. Because, as you know, running a small press, there are things we do to weed out people that we want to work with and ones we don't. And there's a lot of, you could be missing out as soon as you hit send on your email if you don't do it correctly. So, so my part of Pencrafters is educating new writers on how to submit to a publisher.
Mm-hmm. Now, are you also going to be covering some of the red flags for, as I call them, the predatory like types that
Vulture
are
Press.
not real publishers, but
No, yeah, we go over that for sure. Because again, and this doesn't hurt, but listen to this thing. If you're a writer, money always flows to the writer, not from the writer. If
Yes.
someone tells you, and again, I give this example. I had a children's author. He had already published one book, and we were going to publish his second book. And he goes, "So how much is it going to cost me?" I'm like, "It's not going to cost you anything. You get a royalty check." He goes, "You're not going to charge me to do my book?" I went, "No." Now this is
No.
the assistant pastor for a church doing a
Yep.
children's book, and they charged him $10,000 to do his book.
Oh
And he
my.
brought the dialogue and the artwork. They charged him 10 grand.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Dude, that's a shame.
someone's going to hell. That's where they're going. And, but
somewhere very
that's the
warm.
right. But that's the point. You know, now if you want to go independent and you want to be self-published and you want to hire an editor and hire a cover artist, that's fine. But if you're looking to actually go the publishing route, you never pay money to a publisher. It always comes from
Nope.
them to you.
Yep.
Right.
The only money that you ever exchange is to buy your books at wholesale price so you can sell
Right.
them at events and conventions.
That's exactly correct. So, and again, we want you to succeed, because if you don't succeed, we don't make money.
That's right.
So, small presses have enough trouble surviving, and we're not a charity. But if you work hard and we work hard, we can make some money.
Right.
And then, but most of us do it for the love of the writing, but it doesn't hurt to make money. That's not a bad thing.
No, it helps.
Yeah, it keeps the lights on.
Helps.
Right.
So, but that's the thing that, the predatory, and again, I heard that term early was vulture press, and I think it's exactly what they do. They'll pick you clean, they'll pick your carcass until they get everything you got.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
well,
Yeah,
for this
there's
great
no
marketing
reward.
package for $4,000. Yeah, right.
We dealt with one up in Louisville, and I think you were at that event. And I know Bill Noah
Yes.
was.
The
and
AARP
Pearson was.
event,
It was
remember?
like an
Yes.
AARP
Years
event.
ago.
We
Oh, yeah.
talked to- Holly and I had helped somebody there head off a situation where they were about to
8,000.
get about $8,000
Dear
charge
Lord.
from somebody.
Yeah.
Well, there might be one of the vulture presses might be dead. I was at Steamboat Days, and a former gangbanger in Louisville was putting out a book of poetry, street poetry, and he said, "Can I ask you if this is a good deal for me? This guy is charging me, I can't remember, it's like $2,000 or some such, but he's going to throw in the ebook for free. Is that a good deal?" And I went, "Do you know how much it costs him to upload your ebook?" He goes, "How much?" I said, "Free."
Great.
And he went, "Really?" And he's
Yeah.
charging you $2,000 to do your poetry book?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. And is he doing it on Amazon? He goes, "He is." I said, "You know how much it costs to put your poetry book on Amazon?" He goes, "How much?" I went, "Free." And he's like, "Really? I think I need to have a conversation." And I'm like, "Well, whoever did it deserved it anyway." But yeah. So
Yeah. They're
you got to
charging
be
you.
careful who you
That's
take
where
off,
you
friends.
you freak around to find out, right?
Yeah, that's exactly right. I had no sympathy. So, but that's another example where, there are people out there that will take advantage of you and take your money. Because, having a novel published is a fantastic thing. It's a great accomplishment. You see your name on Amazon. You can go to book signings, maybe the either Imaginarium or you're at the Lagrange Book Fair, and people come and buy. And it's a fun thing to do, but it shouldn't cost you both your arm and your leg to do it.
No.
Yeah, no. And
No.
like you said, the only time you're hiring editors or cover artists or anything or marketers or anything is if you're self-published,
Right?
And you control all of it. But you're
That's
bringing,
right.
you have to hire the services to make it a professional
Absolutely. Now,
product.
and again, that's a different animal. So, but
Yeah,
for
that's a
those who
whole
want to be
different-
published, and there are advantages to both. It used to be when you and I
have
first
a
started,
publisher.
Stephen,
Yeah.
being self-published versus a small press, there was a large gap in between that, and now the gap is not as big. There are advantages to both, and but again, Bill is a perfect example. Bill is a very successful mystery writer. His editor, where he was at, retired, and I try to convince Bill to be self-published, but he wants the publishing house to handle all. He just wants to write. I
You
write
don't
it.
want to mess with
Right.
all the
That's
rest.
exactly right.
Yeah.
And I've had other people who came to me. I'm like, "Look, you're better off self-publishing," and they did. And it's one of those cases to where, because they had everything ready to go, and they were just going to hand it to me so Hydra could put their name on it. I'm like, "Well, in all due respect, I'd love to take your money, but you're better off since you got it ready. You could do this yourself, and I'd be happy to show you how it goes on. But so there's advantages to both. So, and that's what
Absolutely.
Pencrafters will help you do
Yeah.
by joining with Lynn Tincher and going through the program, because there's a different mentor for different things, and they will help you through the process. Do you want to be self-published? Do you want to go with a small press? How do you do this? How do you format your book? How do you write that? So it's one of those cases where you're going to learn a little bit about the business from each of the 7 mentors that Lynn has lined up for this really high quality program.
Yeah, I love the fact that it's 7
Nice.
because that's my favorite number. So yes, I think that's awesome.
Well, Stephen, I'm glad I can be one of the people to make that a success for you. So.
That is. So we got any questions from the chat room, Holly? Anybody have
Not
questions?
yet, but
Okay.
well, I tell you, I think we need to bring out that third
Bart,
guest on
I'm
here.
thinking we'll bring in our third guest to join the conversation with you now. And yes, this guy, I just love this guy. He is, of course, the author of a great book on book marketing called DIY Book Promo. And for you vampire-loving readers, he's got the
Yes.
awesome novel Fiona's Guardians, the first in a series. And if that's not enough, he is the co-host of Vamp Chat with Dan and Eva, a fantastic podcast. So great to bring aboard the mighty man himself, Dan Klefstad. Dan,
Well,
you are on.
Thank you for that really good build-up. I hope I can match your expectations with that.
I think so. You've been busy because you have your own
Man,
podcast.
you're all over the place
today. You're all over the place.
Well, we are all busy, folks, but I have been out there trying my best to not only create awareness of my own books, but those of Pencrafters folks, and I do have some clients that I take on for marketing, and I've been working very hard for them as well, in addition to all the vampy stuff I do on the side that I really, really, really love.
Absolutely. And I'm glad that you could join us tonight so that you and Tony could give examples of the kind of mentors that that are there for Lynn in the Pencrafters Mentorship Program, and for your area, I'd like you to talk a little bit describe what you're going to be doing for your side of the coin.
Yeah. So what I do is I give a presentation during my week of the Pencrafters course, and that's a PowerPoint very similar to the one I shared at the Imaginarium last year, in which I share everything I've learned. And I'm continuing to learn about marketing a book, creating awareness, getting your book known in all the online spaces and in real life spaces. So I spent a lot of time focusing on just a handful of things, and they are, of course, show up every day on social media, sharing content in different groups, but make sure it's not the same, Amazon link over and over and over again, which is going to, the bots are going to suppress your posts, and people are going to get tired of hearing about your book. You got to get creative in how you promote yourself on social media. Another thing I think about, Amazon reviews are very important, but I've learned that you need at least one really good review from what I'll call a respectable source. And by respectable, I mean a blogger who specializes in your genre, someone who has read everyone who came before you. So their reviews will have gravitas. And that's something you could take to a bookstore, an independent bookstore, because you don't want to just, go to an independent bookstore and say, hey, will you stock my book or as part of a consignment deal or whatever? And by the way, here are some Amazon reviews. That's going to be really insulting to them. So you have to have that good, respectable blogger review. And I always say, don't ever pay for a review. And so that I have some suggestions, which we can go into a little bit later if you like, about who to pitch to review your book. And then I mentioned bookstores, indie bookstores a second ago. I make a big point of co-branding with independent bookstores who are much more likely. And I know people have had contrary experiences here, but hear me out. these bookstores are much more likely to invite local independent authors, including self-published authors, to events, more likely to stock your
Yep.
book on their shelves. And it's really important to get into that network and meet your local bookstore owner and really start a conversation about how you two can help each other out by promoting each other. And
Yes.
then finally, the other thing I think about a lot is different ways to get your book adapted, as I was able to do with a professional theater company. And so these are the things that I teach: is always put your face out there, put your book out there, and you will create opportunities for something else to happen. So make that next thing happen, and it really is up to you to do that.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And the thing I love about the DIY book promo book that you have is that it really does emphasize something I think is very important for authors to do. And it's something I even, with an author I'm working with, we were talking about just last week, making the most out of every live event that you do, and not just in terms of sales, but also setting the stage for connections in the area,
Oh, yeah.
using it to springboard to media, lots of things like that. And I think that's one thing that I love about your book and your approach, is that you do help authors see that it's not, don't be frustrated if you only sell 2 books. If you've made, you've gotten some people signed up on your email list, if you've connected with a radio station or a newspaper, or you've, gotten on the ground with some people in the writing community there, you can get a lot out of an event, even if it's not high sales at that time.
Exactly. Now, I do want to acknowledge that there are authors out there who depend on an income from the books that they sell, and I get that. And if you are able to kind of put your head up above the wall, so to speak, where you can actually see what the other opportunities out there, it is worth your time and effort to make those connections with your fellow authors, creatives in another area who may be able to partner with you to further your objectives, especially if your objectives are the same. So it is extremely important. Meet the owners, owners of bookstores, but also the people who put on conventions. Like the folks I'm speaking to right now. It's extremely important that you introduce yourself and maintain a good relationship with conventions and festival folks.
Oh,
Yes.
absolutely. Yeah.
Well, I will say that Dan didn't just write a book about it. He really walks the walk. I didn't know Dan very well. He showed up in my bookstore and I invited him to do a book signing. He brought his book. He was getting ready to release the DIY promo, and we connected on Facebook and all this stuff. And I sat back and watched him, and he really, everything he teaches, he does on a regular basis. And because I watched him do all of this and got him into Imaginarium and everything, that made me think, okay, I want to ask him to be a part of this program, because he's not just putting material out there to be putting material out there. He's putting material out there that's very important and does work. And it proves that it works because he's now doing this program.
Yeah,
Right.
I want to share my knowledge, but I also am learning from other people too, who write maybe in other genres, and they've got different kind of angles or tactics that they've learned, about how to, create awareness about their books. And so, as part of the Pencrafters Mentorship Program, I'm also there to learn. And so I appreciate the opportunity to be a part of this, because yes, I have knowledge to share, but I still have more to learn. And I think I could learn even from, especially from the participants who sign up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's true. And you never stop learning. I mean, I don't care, how far you go in this career path or writing path, whatever it is. I mean, you don't stop learning at all. That's the right attitude to have, for sure,
Yeah.
Dan.
And some, if I may, this gets to, I think, the ongoing mentorship part of the Pencrafters program, where after the 7-week course is over, the participants still have access to you and can share ideas, ask questions, help ask to help problem solve something. We're both there to learn, and we're both there to kind of grow together. And it doesn't end after week 7 of the workshop.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And I love that aspect. Yeah, because you definitely get everything that I'm hearing. You definitely get the one-on-one time and instruction, and then you also get to establish relationships with the mentors that continue, and that I think is very, very strong aspect about the program that I think should attract people to participate. I love that. I love that. And not to mention the fact that you, are probably one of the most popular writers among cats, according to some of the co-branding pictures that you put out there. I've seen more
That's
cats
right.
reading Dan Klefstad books than
And we love
anybody.
that.
Yeah,
You
And we
know,
love that.
if there's anything that beats a smiling bookseller holding your book on social media, it is going to be a bookstore cat or a
or
bookstore
cat.
dog.
Yeah.
That works out too. A bookstore
Yep.
iguana,
Yep.
perhaps. That
yeah.
works.
A bookstore wombat someday for you.
I'd love that.
When you hit Australia or something.
Wombat.
Yes, but I love those pictures. So I was going to kick out of those. So when does your week fall? When is your week? When is that going to be hitting?
I believe I'm week 6. Is that correct, Lynn?
Yeah.
Yes, week 6. So obviously, the writers need to learn how to write a great book, and then of course learn. Tony was talking about the publishing. Navigating the minefield of publishing, and then once the participants learn those basics, it makes sense then to bring me into the room and say, okay, here's what I've learned about marketing. This is what you're going to have to do next after your book has a publisher and you have a publication date. Here's the 4 months out. What you're going to have to start doing before your book goes live. And it's another thing that has its minefields. You got to be careful because there are people out there who, oh man, I get people in my spam folder all the time.
Oh,
and
me too.
Saying, I will promote your book on these blogs for this amount of money, and
Yeah.
I have no idea if I pay them that they'll do the work.
That's
So
it.
it really is incumbent, I think, for the participating writers, but any writer or creative who's listening right now, you're gonna have to do the lion's share of the work yourself.
Yeah. Yeah, you have to be proactive. And if you're with a small press, whatever, we can tell you that. You can't just be stalemate because,
Or a
well,
large
we can
press,
only
even.
do so much. We cannot
Even
do
a large,
everything for you.
even a large press.
We're a small press.
No, even a major press expects their authors
Yeah, they
to,
do.
unless you're like Stephen King. They expect you to do a lot of stuff.
They
too. It's
expect you
not
to
just
get out
small.
there. They expect you to do book signings. They expect you to go to, the booksellers and show your face.
Build
And
your platform too. That's a
yeah,
big one now.
that's it. Be your brand.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. If you were lucky enough to get into the big 5, you have a literary agent who's got, landed you a contract with, Simon and Schuster or Penguin Random House. That's great. But, the majority of their promotional budgets are going to Stephen King or to the authors that we know about, the household names. They're not going to give you much to work with.
No.
A lot of people don't realize that. They think that it's just, every
that
major
you're
author
going to
has
be
it
a
made.
millionaire and sell,
Have this big
you're going to
promotional
sell a
team
million
working
books.
with you. But if you talk to all the people with major presses, most of them will tell you, it's a lot is expected of you to take on a lot of the marketing aspects.
But I think what a lot of people don't quite realize, because it can seem daunting, marketing. What is that? How does that work? I'm an introvert. I'm a writer. Whatever. Is that it can be, not all the time, but it can be fun. If you're when you're meeting new people or you're forming connections and you're maybe finding some collaborative energy out there, it can be a joy to tell the world about this baby that you've worked on for 4 or 5 years, your novel or your memoir, that kind of thing. So I would encourage folks to leave themselves open to the good, the happy experience of it.
Yep, definitely. And stay on with us, Dan, because I know Tony had to sign off, and definitely want to thank Tony for participating tonight because he's awesome, and we need to get him back on a full show for talk about his Victor McCain thrillers and everything else. Tony's a blast. But But Lynn, could you give us a rundown of we've talked to Dan and we've talked to Tony now, but give us a rundown of all the mentors, all 7, and their area. We know Dan and Tony, but what are the other 5?
Okay, we've got. I usually kick it off with the development phase, which it's the very first part when you first come up with your idea, and then you got to figure out what the heck you're going to do with it. But I teach the interviewing your characters workshop at Engineering, and hopefully Holly has me down for that one and for interviewing your location this time. But I have week 1 for the development phase. We have Dave Creek, who is a fabulous science fiction author. I called him a sci-fi author the other day. He didn't like it. He wants to be an author. So he helps with craft improvement and world building and that piece of it. And then we have revision and editing, which I have author and editor Leah Pugh, who is founded the Bullitt County Authors Fair in the group, and she does a lot for independent authors as well.
Mm-hmm.
We have with the publishing process and marketing and promotion with Dan, and we have Irv Klein with the post-publication support, and then he's another fabulous author. He's also a Hydra author, but Irv was the president of the Global Literary Arts as well.
Mm-hmm.
And then Dan, of course, you know really well. And then we're bringing on this year is Mick Williams, who's another fabulous author. But he's going to talk about networking and building in the community and paying it forward and helping mentor others.
Yeah, he just had a big accolade from I believe it was the London Film Festival. He's a finalist with his screenplay, I believe. So if I read the post right, so yeah, he's definitely doing some great stuff out there. And Mick is fun. Let me tell you, he's a lot of fun to work with. So you mentees are going to love Mick. He's a blast. Yeah, we love being near him at events. If we're putting a table somewhere near to Mick, and just a great guy. But that's a great group. I mean, Irv is fantastic. You mentioned Leah with the Bullitt County Authors Fair, and that's we love that. Lynn and I got to do a session on independent publishing at the last one, and that was a lot of fun. And Leah, yeah, definitely somebody that pushes the writing community all the time up there. And yeah, you've got just a great assembly of folks there. And so how does somebody become part of it, and what are the stipulations? What are the give us the information on how one participates in the program?
Sure. We have an event on eventbrite.com. You can go to Eventbrite and look at Pencrafters Writing Mentorship Program, and you can buy a ticket. It's only $75. I think to be able to have access to this many people is a great thing, and I'm going to try my best to share it with all the mentors and not keep all the all the ticket sales for just myself. But anything that's left over will go to help them, because they're spending their time to be able to do this, even though a lot of them said, I think pretty much everybody said that they can volunteer. So, but I want to try to give them something because I really appreciate them, because they are fabulous people that are really doing a lot in the whole publishing industry. So I'm very honored and very lucky that this team has agreed to do it, and we did it once and it was very successful, and they've agreed to do it again. So can't thank them enough.
Okay, so Pencrafters Mentorship Program on Eventbrite, and then you buy a ticket there, and then that enrolls you.
Yes, and then you'll hear from me right before the start with all the login information, because it'll be on Zoom. Last year we did Zoom and in person, and everybody stayed on Zoom, so we'll probably just do Zoom this time. So yeah, you'll hear from us before we get started.
That's cool. Great price. I mean, yeah, for getting one-on-one instruction and getting, all those different segments and
all the different areas, all aspects of writing. Great.
Yeah, that is great. And hey, check because I don't see the down because I'm looking at a couple other things. Holly, is anybody asking any questions from the chat room?
Let me go back over here.
to make
I
sure
am
if anyone has
multitasking.
questions about Pencrafters Mentorship Program,
Yeah, does
just get
anybody have any
get
questions about the mentorship? I don't see any yet.
yeah.
I do see Moon said I need to figure out something out.
Mhm,
Oh, I need to figure something out in that space. I'm not
mhm.
sure if he was responding to a comment.
Yep.
What he
And
was
yes,
shocked about. He was actually shocked about that 10 grand. But yeah, Moon, you
yeah,
wouldn't believe
it's
how many people get taken.
oh, all the time. We've stopped
All the
people
time.
from
It's so common.
spending 3 grand,
Yeah.
4 grand, 10 grand, 8 grand.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's
yeah, we've
why
ooh,
that's why
yeah,
programs like Pencrafters like this is so
mhm,
important to
yep,
get the knowledge and to protect themselves
yeah.
and learn, don't get taken by these predators.
Yeah, because Dan brought up a good one. And like he said, we get hit by it all the time. All these marketing offers where they charge large prices
Yes,
for the packages and
yes,
promise this amazing stuff that's going to get your sales way up. And then you spend it and get like no results and see nothing. And that's
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
yeah,
happens all the time. And there's active.
it does.
Yeah, over on Blue Sky is a real good editor, Rob Bignell, who's a great guy. And from I've read a lot of his stuff on his blog, and yeah, he has a lot of great content on writing and editing. But he actually was spearheading a list of these scammers, as I would
Oh
call them.
yeah,
And
nice.
so people can go and check a list on them because there are and there really are a lot. And I think Pencrafters will be great for arming you against all that stuff, and so you
Yeah,
won't get taken advantage of, and as well as developing your craft. So it's a nice balance I see with business and the business side of the writing world and the craft of writing. It's got Pencrafters has a nice balance.
And
Writing
because the emphasis on business is important, equal to the
Mhm.
art. Because of course, the
Mhm.
minute you search for a publisher, or you're going to publish the book yourself, you're a business person at that point.
right,
Yep.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
very important
100%.
part of it.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, now Lynn's on the front lines of it all with the bookstores,
Yeah.
so she appreciates the business side very well and what's involved. So, but how often is the program going to? How often do the cycles take place? Because it seems like with the structure, you don't have to just run it like once a year. You could. It seems like you could do it more than. I mean, how often is it going to run? Uh,
It depends on the mentors. We tried to get it off the ground in January, but I think that was just a really bad time of year right after the holidays and all that. So we pushed it out until March. But I'm looking at maybe doing them once or twice a year. I don't want to wear out my mentors where they do too much, but especially if we have all the ongoing support afterwards. Because if we do it, just over and over again, not only are they having to teach, but then they have more and more and more people, which is not a problem. But if we spread it out, then we can help be able to focus more and get somebody through the whole process without
mhm.
piling on a lot of them on the mentors. I'm trying to take care of them too. So we're looking at maybe twice a year.
Nice, yeah. Like see where it could be done. Yeah, on more than once
Oh
a
yeah,
year basis. Easily. And also it'd be fun to once the success stories begin, it'd be fun to if you get somewhere that people can start to hear about some of the success stories of the mentees as they get out there and start making some things happen.
utilizing what they learned. Yeah,
Yeah,
We have
absolutely.
hundreds of such stories. It's now a published author. So,
Hmm.
woo-hoo.
Yeah, those kind of things are
nice.
great. Yeah, because I know that with our event, we love hearing the stories about people that either get publishing deals or make great connections or become parts of new organizations and things like that. Those success stories are always make all the work worth it. And
All the blood, sweat, and tears.
all the blood, sweat, and tears. Okay, now Eventbrite is where you sign up. Do you have a official website or anything? What kind of places can people go to check out information or get in contact with you, Len, about the program if there are
You can
questions?
find the From the Ground Up books. From the Ground Up Books and Resources page on Facebook is one. We have the event information there as well as the link to the Eventbrite. But you can also visit our FromTheGroundUpBooks.com website. as well and get information there.
Yep. And From the Ground Up Books, highly recommend checking out your stores in Shepherdsville and LaGrange. And I know
And I
recently
do
announced.
think, hold on, I do think you can find Dan's book DIY promo there,
Book
correct?
promo, yeah.
Yeah, there's at least a couple of photos of Lynn holding my book that I've been
That's
sharing
what
on
I
social
thought.
media.
That's what I thought.
Tagging her bookstore, of course.
There you go.
We need to do another one with Poe, our cat.
Yeah.
Need a
Yes.
cat photo, yes.
I will be in
Fantastic.
this week.
Yeah, I joked with
Wait,
Dan the other
we
day. I was
didn't
like,
get a kitty cat photo. We're gonna have to come in and get the
yeah,
cat photo.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
We need
I'm gonna have to
discuss
bring.
things as it works.
We need to get Vicky or Albie to pose with Dan's book over here, just so I can get
Well,
him a
I
cat
think
photo here.
Leon would probably be the best. He's the most
He might.
fat
He
cat
might.
and laid back. What is
Well, I would
propping up
be
on him? He'll lay there.
I would be forever in your debt if you
But
supplied us such a photo.
but
We
I
could
will
do that.
argue that Albert is the incredibly intelligent one that I do think is going to
Yes,
say human word someday. I know this cat is
he
going to
Mm.
is.
speak one
He
day. He
tries
tries
so
to.
hard.
He
He
tries
takes
to
his
speak.
lips, and I try to work
Uh-huh.
with him. He tries
Yeah.
so hard to move his lips, and it gets things
Yeah.
out, but he don't.
He's going
It's
to
not
get it
quite a
one
word
day.
yet, but he's going to. He's
He's going
going
to
to.
say
And
it.
he's
He's
going to
going to
say
say words one day.
DIY
Yeah.
book promo.
If we could get Albert to do that,
Ah,
Dan's going to be go
gold,
viral. It'll be
Oh,
gold.
gold,
I can't wait to share
gold.
that.
Except everybody accused us of AI. Well,
Yeah,
no, it's really him.
it's him saying it. We're working.
We're working on it.
We'll get his
But
actual paw print, on the photo or something like
That's right. That's right.
yeah,
Stamped
yeah.
by Prince Albert. Here you go.
Yeah.
All right. So
Oh,
let's see here. As far as do you have any questions from the chat room, Holly?
no, I do not see any. Not yet. Anybody got any questions? Let us know now. Here. Now, let's see. Moon says blue sky's pretty dope. LJ Max says the business part of things is the part she struggles with the most. My English degree was great for writing, but no one ever suggested taking any kind of business class.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
That's
always say
where, yeah,
writing the book's the easy part, and that's not easy at all by any stretch of the imagination. But once you get that done and get published, then you have a whole nother world to worry about.
Mm-hmm. And
Agreed.
yeah, and like Tony had said, he used the term minefield, and it is
yes,
true.
it really is. And you have
And,
to find your readers. You know, that's hard is finding that niche group of your readers, because you are a small fish in this huge flooded pond. So you got to find something to make yourself stand out for one thing, be your brand, be unique, be original,
mm-hmm.
and get out there and
Yeah,
promote
put in
your
the
book.
work.
And also to have hope that there is a group of people out there who want to be, who want to read you and celebrate your words. So
Right.
it's just a matter of finding them. And the longer you keep at it, you will find them eventually.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. And since Tony is not on, I do want to give you guys a place to find him. TonyAcree.com, and spells his name TonyAcree.com. Also check out HydraPublications.com, and that's just as it sounds, HydraPublications.com, to check out the press and all the imprints. And yes, that new Pennington Press imprint, which is awesome. And of course, we mentioned the new Western imprint, Lawless Trails, but HydraPublications.com on that. So first, I'll ask you, Dan, and then Lynn. Go ahead and give places to find and connect with you guys.
Well, you can find me at DIYBookPromo.com. I was shocked to find that URL was available more than a year ago. So that's a good place to interact with me. I'm on Facebook. I'm on Blue Sky, Instagram, LinkedIn. I'm also on LinkedIn.
Yes. All the
And
places.
if you follow Dan, you would have gotten to see the recent pictures where he does look like a hybrid of James Bond and Indiana Jones. Some great photos.
Thanks.
But all right, Lynn, where can we find you?
Or you can find me at the bookstore, the fromthegroundupbooks.com, or you can find me at lynntincher.com or weirdosinthewild.com for my podcast. But I'm also on pretty much every social media that you can think of. You can find From the Ground Up Books or Lynn Tincher at. There's nothing really fancy there, but I'm all over the place. You have to be all over the place.
Yep.
You have to be all the places. Yes, all the places.
All the places. And congratulations on your new book release, Lynn. That's great news. And we'd like to thank you for fighting the good fight by being an indie bookstore owner. That is just so awesome. And I love the fact how back-to-back weeks we had the Spine Bookshop last week.
That's right.
This week we had in Tennessee, and then tonight From the Ground Up Books. So I love it when we can give some love to the indie bookstore community. And thank you,
because we do appreciate you.
And thank you for doing the Pencrafters Mentorship Program, because we need more and more of this kind of thing out there. I mean, definitely. And we see the need for it all the time, just from running the convention, that, so many authors, need programs like this. It's very important. So I'll leave it to you guys for final comments. And thanks for also sticking with us tonight, Lynn. I know you're not feeling great, but I hope you get to feeling better very soon. Thanks for soldiering through tonight.
Thank you. I appreciate the opportunity to be able to be here and talk about this. So, and appreciate
Thanks so much.
All that you do with Imaginarium and everything.
Oh yeah, we're all in this fight together, definitely.
That's right.
Appreciate you guys. Really appreciate y'all.
Well,
thank you, Dan. And please check out Dan and Eva's podcast.
It's fun.
Dan and Eva.
Fan chat with Dan and Eva.
I always call it the Fangtastic Podcast. Yes, it was great.
And one more thing before we go. Where's the best place and how to contact about Pencrafters? If anybody's interested, one more time. Give them the info.
Sure. You can find our events set up on Facebook at From the Ground Up Books and Resources. Just find us on Facebook, or you go to eventbrite.com and look up Pencrafters Writing Mentorship Program.
Perfect.
Thank you. Perfect. So everybody, you hear that out there, check them out.
Well worth
up your game, up your career, questions can be answered by professionals that have been there and done it.
Yep.
And bought the farm. So, yes.
Well, not bought the farm. Yeah, that's
Well, you might have bought the farm. We don't know.
They're lying. Well, Dan, that's true. He's a vampire, so maybe. So
well, yeah.
Bought the blood farm. Yes.
Yes.
So it's been a great night, and I've loved getting to talk with three of just wonderful people from the indie book community tonight: Tony Acree, Lynn Tincher, and Dan Klefstad. But I'm going to turn it over. You guys, Lynn, Dan, if you have any final comments, and then Holly, you can wrap her up for tonight.
All right. Sounds good.
Just want to say thanks again for having us on, and well, keep listening to the Star Chamber Show, because it's a fantastic podcast every Wednesday. I look forward to it.
Thanks, Dan. Appreciate you so much.
Thank you, Lynn. Well, thank you, everybody, including all of our listeners out there. And check them out, Pencrafters. And check out Dan Klefstad and Lynn Tincher and Tony Acree, who is from Hydra Press.
Yes.
Hydra Publications. I always say press, but it is Hydra Publications. We're a press. He's a publication.
601, half a dozen of the other, right?
That's it. We're 7-Star Press, where he's Hydra Publications. But yes, everybody, thank you for listening in and joining us tonight. And join us next Wednesday. Same place, same time, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard. Another great guest, another great chat. And for the rest of the week, be creative. Good night, all.